Hello, beautiful people, lovers of freedom, fellow Biafrans. Welcome back to our channel. This is Nelly's TV, where we bring you information, authentic information, news, and history analysis. Today, we're going to be talking about victory, the victory that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu just recorded recently. Okay, so in honor of this great man, I am going to bring his picture to the screen. Oh, yawa, odogbo. Afụ nwoke afụ ogologo imi ya. So that is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu there for you. And we are going to be talking about this great man in this broadcast. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, the Ohamadike one of Biafra, one of the greatest men on earth today, and of course, the greatest in Africa. His messages are, the eye opener that people now have in Africa, and even some people who are making moves to revolutionize their countries. They got the message from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So we're going to be talking about him. And if you've not subscribed to our channel, I crave your indulgence. Please hit the subscription button in order to encourage us to do more of such videos and bring them your way. Thank you very much. And let's proceed. Now, recall that on the 19th of June 2021, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was abducted in Kenya, where he went for an official assignment for the indigenous people of Biafra, that is IPOB. So an arrangement was made between Nigeria and Kenya, obviously, and he was arrested in Kenya and detained for 8 days, starved, punished, humiliated in several ways, abused, and denied medical access. And he was tortured. He suffered seriously for no just cause, not knowing that there was already an arrangement between Kenya and Nigeria for him to be abducted. So after 8 days, Nigeria arrived in Kenya and got him abducted, and he didn't even pass through any due process, even stamping his passport at the airport. Nothing was done, and he was smuggled into Nigeria. And since then, he has been in the detention of the DSS of Nigeria illegally till today. And the court case has been going back and forth. Nigeria doesn't want to release him, obviously, because Britain is interested in having him locked up there, right? So he is currently facing charges and going to court. And in his last court, recall that following the inability of Nigeria to produce genuine evidence against him for all the charges they leveled against him, from 15 count charge to 14 count charge to 7 count charge, the judge decided to say, hey, come on, this thing, you guys are going back and forth, you don't have any serious thing to say, so I am closing the case. And in fact, it was even the Nigerian government that closed the case against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And also recall that in that second to the last court sitting, the U.S. sent some representatives to the court, obviously because this issue has started raising a lot of international and worldwide dust. So they came there, and the thing sent some jitters to the Nigerian government and, of course, the judge, the trial judge, and so they were no longer comfortable. The case had to be closed abruptly, honestly, because it wasn't supposed to end that day. So the lawyers to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu filed a no case objection, and the trial judge, Justice James Omotosho, granted them the permission. Granted them the right to submit the no case to file the no case submission, and he gave them 2 weeks, and also gave 2 weeks to the prosecuting counsel, which is the counsel to Nigerian government, to respond to it. And then that made it 1 month. And so by next month, June 18th, 18th of June, the court will be reconvening to look at the submissions in order to enable him to pass his judgment. All right. So, and obviously, Nigeria had nothing serious to level against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So, if justice should be done in that case, Nnamdi Kanu will be released without even a condition. Recall that he wasn't even supposed to face this trial again, because before now, the Court of Appeal had already quashed the case and said that no court in Nigeria had the right to try him again because of the way he was brought to Nigeria in the first place. He was abducted. So Nigeria committed what is called extraordinary rendition, because it is a country. But if it was done by individuals, it will be called kidnapping. And kidnapping is a criminal offense, whether it is done by individual or group or a country. It is a very serious offense. So Nigeria can't just kidnap or abduct somebody and then come and stand on the judgment seat to judge the person. So as a result of the way Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was brought to Nigeria, Nigeria lost the legitimacy to try him. That was what the appeal court said. Okay. And this judgment was also concurred in part by the Supreme Court, because the case later went to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court agreed that the way Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was brought to Nigeria was illegal. So it was a criminal offense that Nigeria government committed. And this wasn't even the first time that Nigeria was kidnapping somebody from another country. The first time was when Umaru Diko was kidnapped from UK and brought to Nigeria. And interestingly, it was under the leadership or the leadership of Buhari in 1984 that of Umaru Diko happened. Then again, it happened under the leadership of the same Buhari again, this time around in 2021. So it now paints Buhari in a very bad light as a kidnapper. Buhari is a criminal that has to face serious international charges for committing extraordinary rendition 2 times. All right. So, in order to buttress the fact that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was illegally brought to Nigeria, there was a court suit filed by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's family in Nairobi, Kenya, where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was abducted from. So the first time they went to the court played a political game that was under Uhuru Kenyatta, the former president of Kenya. And Uhuru left office, then Ruto came into power now, and the family filed the suit, revived the case again. So the court under Uhuru Kenyatta said that Kenya was unaware of what happened. All right, that they didn't know that Nnamdi Kanu was abducted from Kenya. So that was the kind of political judgment they gave there, just to save their face. And they didn't say any other thing again apart from that in the ruling. So that was a very vague ruling. So maybe because of that, the family filed another case or revived the case this time around. I don't know the legal terms to use for it. So it was filed by Mazi Kingsley Kanu on behalf of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So Kingsley Kanu is the younger brother to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And the people who he petitioned against included Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government. National Government. Yeah, that's the first respondent. Cabinet Secretary, that is the Secretary of the Ministry of Interior. Director of Immigration Services is the second respondent. Director of Criminal Investigations is the third respondent. Officer Commanding Police Division, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport is the fourth respondent. And the fifth respondent is the Attorney General of Kenya. So I'm going direct to the judgment, the concluding part of the judgment. It says, having considered the pleadings and arguments by parties, the decisions The decisions relied on the Constitution and the law. I come to the following conclusions. So that was the judge writing. First, the government of Kenya violated the Constitution and Mr. Nnamdi Kanu's rights and fundamental freedoms. Having entered Kenya lawfully, he was subject to the protection offered by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and the government of Kenya had an obligation to uphold and protect his rights and fundamental freedoms. Mr. Nnamdi was, however, abducted, kept in solitude, confinement, tortured, and denied food and medication, a breach of basic rights. He was chained, humiliated, ridiculed, and held in contempt, and later forcibly removed from Kenya without following the law, in violation of his rights and fundamental freedoms, for which the government of Kenya is liable. Then disposal of the case rather. Based on the above conclusions, the court makes the following declarations and orders it considers appropriate. Okay, so declarations and orders which the court considers appropriate. Number one, a declaration is hereby issued that the abduction, remember, the court has always consistently called it abduction, which means it is a crime. So a court is calling it abduction, and that is the court of the country where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was taken. So bear that in mind. So a declaration is hereby issued that the abduction of Mr. Nnamdi Keni Okukano, holding him in incommunicado confinement, torturing him and denying him food, water, medication, and other basic necessities, was a violation of his rights and fundamental freedoms. Number two, a declaration is hereby issued that the abduction and subsequent forcible removal of Mazi Nnamdi Keni Okukano from Kenya to Nigeria was in violation of the laws of Kenya, his rights and fundamental freedoms, including freedom of movement and security of the persons guaranteed by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and therefore unconstitutional and illegal. So how many times are courts declaring this thing illegal, this move that was made on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Maybe we will count it later. Number three, an order for compensation is hereby issued awarding Mazi Nnamdi Keni Okukano general damages of Kenyan shillings 10 million Kenyan shillings against the Attorney General of Kenya on behalf of the government of Kenya for the violation of Mr. Nnamdi Keni Okukano's constitutional rights and fundamental freedoms. The Attorney General shall also pay cost of the petition and interest. Dated and delivered at Nairobi this 24th day of June 2025. So just on the 24th of June 2025, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the Ohamadike one of Biafra, and the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, the leader of the movement for the emancipation of Biafra from Nigeria, won a court case in Kenya while in detention in Nigeria. That is a wonderful one. Ladies and gentlemen, so now let us look at how many times the treatment of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was condemned. Now, there was a court sitting in Umuahia, Federal High Court in Umuahia, where it was declared, okay, that one was about the invasion of his house in 2017. That one was declared illegal, and Nigerian army was asked to pay him compensation. Number two, there was also another court sitting in Umuahia, this time around Umuahia High Court, that is Abia State High Court, also declared the invasion of his house as illegal and awarded another compensation for him. Then there was a ruling by ECOWAS court in Abuja stating that the way Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was brought to Nigeria was illegal and declared that he be released unconditionally, and an award of some amount of compensation, I think that one was 400 million naira, be given to him. Then there was also the ruling, the popular ruling of the appeal court sitting in Abuja, stating that the way he was brought to Nigeria was illegal and that he should be released, and all the charges against him quashed completely, and that no court in Nigeria should try him again. That was another one. Then the Supreme Court, when the case went to the Supreme Court held also that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was brought to Nigeria illegally, and that was a criminal offense by Nigeria. But the Supreme Court refused to pass any judgment. They returned the case to High Court, a practice that I have never seen in law in the needy country. So the case came again from Supreme Court back to High Court. And today we are in the High Court. We want to know what the judge is going to pass on the 18th of July. So now this is another one. Another court of competent jurisdiction in Kenya passed a verdict that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was abducted from Kenya illegally. So all these courts that pass these judgments are courts of competent jurisdiction. And yet, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu remains in solitary confinement in DSS dungeon of Nigeria. This is the practice of a place that is not supposed to be a country in the first place. Nigeria is a naval enterprise that has to be split so that people can go their separate ways to their separate regions and form their own countries, homogeneous countries, and exist there. We want Biafra. We don't want Nigeria. Nigeria is a destroyer. People are losing their lives in that country on daily basis, and the world is just keeping quiet and looking the other way. A similar suit was filed in a UK court. They brought their hypocrisy there and said that they have no right, that the court has no powers to tell the Minister of Foreign Affairs what to do in such a situation. That was what they said. And the court in UK could not say any tangible thing concerning such a heavy case. That a citizen of UK traveled with their passport and was abducted in the country where he was where he traveled to another country. UK court did not have the moral courage to condemn it and pass a decree that Nnamdi Kanu should be released, back to UK as their citizen. Or the only thing they said was that they hand over the case to the Minister of External Affairs but cannot tell him what to do. So is that not an indirect way of saying that the Minister of Foreign Affairs can decide to keep quiet and let Nnamdi Kanu continue to languish? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the evil and hypocrisy going on in this world today. And I want to remind every Biafran, every Igbo person, every person from the former southeastern part of Nigeria to begin to look at this as a lesson that you are hated by this country called Nigeria. The country doesn't like you. So you have to like yourself, work out your own your own how do I put it? Let me go a bit spiritual now. Work out your salvation by yourself. Stop depending on what they tell you in Nigeria, that Nigeria is one. It is not one. When the law comes to you, it is applied differently from the way it's applied to somebody from the north. You can see how they pamper the criminals, the terrorists, and the bandits from the north. But when it comes to an innocent civilian from the south, the law is made very harsh against him. So we need to leave that contraption called Nigeria and go to our own country. This is an evil enterprise. I don't know how many times I will say for people's brains to begin to function. If you talk, some people will come out to tell you, hey, I'm not a Biafran. Who told you you are not a Biafran? If the northern criminals get angry now and begin to massacre people from the south, do you think they are going to ask you whether you support Biafra or not before they cut off your head? They will not ask you. Now that they are invading communities in the south and the southeast, do they ask you whether you are a Biafran before they invade your farm or before they invade your community and chase you out? There are many people in Ehamufu who said they were not Biafrans. But when the criminals from the north, the Fulani herdsmen invaded their communities, they attacked everybody, irrespective of what you believe or what you don't believe. So it is stupidity and foolishness for you to sit down and say, hey, I'm not a Biafran, I'm not interested. When the thing that is consuming, about to consume people will start consuming, it will also consume you. So you better wake up and begin to support the struggle. Come up and begin to support it. Okay? And stop being stupid, stop being foolish, stop being unnecessarily irresponsible about your future. We're talking about your future here. Please. So we are very glad today and happy and thankful to the Almighty God who has been with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu all the time for granting him this huge success. It is going to be another it's another event that will go down in history, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu also won a case concerning what he's pursuing there in Kenya. And this case can also be presented anywhere in the world, that he was illegally abducted from Kenya to Nigeria. And that is a record against Nigeria, that it is a criminal country. It is a criminal country. It's only a criminal country that can go to another country and abduct somebody. And it's because Uhuru Kenyatta compromised that such a thing happened. Uhuru Kenyatta will pay. He will pay very dearly for this evil, because he can't claim that he didn't know what happened. How can somebody just come into your country and kidnap somebody and pass through your airport and leave, and you say you didn't know? When things happen, people don't learn. The ambassador of Kenya to Nigeria, when that thing happened and people were, still rumoring that it happened in Kenya, the ambassador quickly came out and granted a press interview there in Abuja that it didn't happen in Kenya, that nothing of such happened in Kenya. This is how they lie. And these are old men who are supposed to say the truth, to show example to the younger ones. He lied openly in a press interview, and news carried it everywhere. But what happened? I don't think that man lived up to 2 months and he died. He died in Nigeria, the Kenyan embassy to Nigeria then in 2021. He gave up. This is nemesis. This is karma working against people. Yet people don't want to learn. So people, that is where I'm ending it for now. Thank you very much for watching up to this point. Please spread the news that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has won a victory, very serious landslide victory today. And it was won on the 24th of June, 2025. Thank you very much for watching once again. And please subscribe to our channel if you have not done so. And continue to hit the like button and share our videos. Come back also to check if there is any new update. All right. And thank you very much once again for watching, and have a very nice day. Bye for now.